We also note that many of the ANC cadres that have been named by Minister Mkhwanazi have been working with criminals whose drugs are ravaging our country and destroying the future of our young people. Now, this commission is simply an inquiry, and the objective is not to dismantle the criminal networks, but to be able to reorganize and protect the damning evidence about the criminal mafia running the country right now. For the MKP, the starting point is to ask the president of this nation, why should he not resign? And why should he not call for an early election, given the gravity of this unprecedented crisis? The crisis runs far deeper and cannot be solved by a commission of inquiry, we repeat. We are dealing here with a president who has proven to be the weakest of all presidents since our democratic breakthrough in 1994. And the basis of our rejections are very profound and factual based. This latest commission promises to be just another long and costly judicial commission of inquiry, whose recommendation will at best be selectively implemented or completely unheeded at worst. We have had commissions of inquiry over the years, such as the TRC, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, the Jali Commission, the Marikana Commission, and the Khayelitsha Commission of Inquiry into allegations of police inefficiency in Khayelitsha Township right here in Cape Town, the Western Cape, a province mismanaged by the DA. The findings and recommendations of these commissions, which came at a huge cost to the taxpayers, have been not satisfactory at all, and they have not been implemented because the ANC government, yet again, and several ANC leaders have been implicated in all of these findings and these intensive investigations. The president has decided to place Minister Mchunu on special leave. There is no provision in our constitution for a special leave in respect of a member of cabinet. What we know as MKP is that the president appoints and dismisses members of his cabinet in terms of Section 91, subsection 2 of the Constitution. And of course, it takes a brave president, like our President Zuma, to exercise this constitutional prerogative. Something that a weak president such as Ramaphosa cannot do and will never do. All indications are that the president's decision to appoint Professor Feroz Kachalia as an acting minister of police is unconstitutional. The president seems to have conflated or confused wittingly or unwittingly his constitutional powers in Section 91, subsection 3C and 98 of the Constitution. It is our understanding of the Section 98 of the Constitution, which is titled, and I quote, Temporary Assignment of Functions, close quote, that the president may assign a cabinet member serving any power or function of another who is absent from office or is unable to exercise that power or perform that function. What this unconstitutional appointment of Professor Kachalia means is that South Africa effectively now have two ministers of police, which flies in the face of Section 206, subsection 1 of the Constitution that provides only for a single minister responsible for policing in this republic. The MKP has a huge problem with Professor Kachalia himself as the acting minister of police. We see him as nothing but an ANC hack who has been identified by this president to his bidding. This president thinks he can, with absolute impunity, violate his own oath of office and act outside of the parameters of the Constitution and the law. We unapologetically reject that. It won't happen under the watch of MKP. What makes this constitutional delinquency even worse is the fact that we are told, we haven't seen it, that our president is a qualified lawyer. We are beginning to doubt the authenticity of his legal qualification because even the most junior lawyer in this country knows that the Constitution is the supreme law of the Republic and that the law or conduct that is inconsistent with the Constitution is invalid. The MKP is deeply concerned that the president has given this commission of inquiry an open-ended time frame. General Mkhwanazi has made specific allegations against specific persons. Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi is a seasoned commissioner holding the rank of Lieutenant General, which is equivalent to a Deputy Director General in the public service. And what action has been taken against other individuals outside of this commission? Only Minister Mchunu has been put on special leave. What about the other individuals mentioned by Mkhwanazi? They remain in their offices and they can obstruct and cause the course of justice and end of this commission. Mkhwanazi, as a commissioned police officer with the experience and seniority that he holds, he would not go publicly and make such serious allegations without any credible evidence to back them up. It should therefore not take longer than 3 months for the commission to conclude its work, compile a report on this investigation with findings and recommendations on what needs to be done. Lastly, we call upon the President to speedily rectify this flagrant violation of the Constitution by completely removing Senzo Mchunu from cabinet. Fire him now and allow him to exercise his Section 91, subsection 3C powers of appointing a maximum of 2 ministers from outside of the National Assembly. Should the President fail to heed this call from the MKP as the official opposition in Parliament, we will be left with no option but to approach the courts of this land on an urgent basis for appropriate relief or intervention. You would have seen yesterday that we have begun to mobilize the masses on the ground and will continue to do so. Yesterday, our people came in their numbers to march against the firing of Mchunu. In Parliament, as the DP has already said, we've submitted an urgent request to the Speaker for a snap debate on Wednesday. Hopefully she will accede to our request. We have also referred this matter to the Joint Ethics Committee. And we also wrote a letter to the President via our Deputy President, the party leader in Parliament, demanding the firing of Senzo Mchunu. We await the President's response. I will now hand over to my colleague to make his remarks.
Thank you, Chief Wade.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'll shoot from the hip. I just want to become, just for once, a DDP. I just want to be the deputy to General Mkhwanazi, so I'll be Major General today. Members of the media, thank you very, very much. I'm not going to say much because the Chief Whip has already said many things which concern Umkhonto Wesizwe Party. But I'm just going to say that to emphasize that, because remember we've got the Dr. Hlophe, who was a judge for over 2 decades. Now, this unlawful presidential interference in an institutionalized autonomy, the President has conducted himself in naming appointees who are currently serving in other independent institutions, without those institutions having formally released them. It's a clear infringement of institutionalized autonomy. The Constitutional Court is protected under Section 165 of the Constitution, which guarantees the independence of the judiciary, which we doubt as we speak here now. That the Constitutional Judge, Justice Madlanga as well, has not said anything as yet, which means he has accepted the position of being sitting in that Judicial Commission of Inquiry. By publicity naming Justice Madlanga and Professor Kakanya before they are legally available for redeployment, the President has usurped the right of those institutions to manage their own personnel, created a legal uncertainty over the status of these individuals, prejudiced the individual concerned by exposing them to public scrutiny while still bounding by the current contract. Remember, they are still in office. The Commission of Inquiry into this allegation by General Mkhwanazi is compromised in both its legal foundation and execution. It is chaired by Justice Madlanga, a sitting Constitutional Court judge who has not yet vacated the office, contrary to the requirement of Section 84(2)(f) of the Constitutional and Judicial Conduct Regulations. Under Section 165(2), judicial officers must refrain from performing executive functions whilst they are in office. Because remember, he has announced him already. Any findings or actions emanating from this commission while she chair is still serving on the bench are legally tainted and challengeable. As the Chief Whip has already said that we might approach the court in this regard. The premature naming of this sitting justice to chair the executive inquiry undermines the separation of power and creates potential conflict if any related matters are ever brought before court. Broader constitutional implications and potential consequences. The development cannot be understood in isolation. Taken together, they constitute a systematic pattern of executive misconduct that threatens to undermine the rule of law, Section 1C, violate the doctrine of rationality, as our Chief Whip has already said, disrupt the balance of power across government organs, erode the constitutional legitimacy of ministerial appointments, weaken public trust in the presidency and in the justice system. This breach may justify the activation of Section 89(1)(a) of the Constitution to assess whether the President has committed a serious violation of the Constitution or the law. The answer is, we know that the President himself is conflicted and contaminated. We still have the issue of the sealed bank statements. We still have the issue of Pala. And Justice Madlanga is conflicted in these matters because he was sitting in those sittings. Even when we wrote the letter to the public protector, we knew that the public protector used to be the legal advisor of the now so-called leave of absence or a special leave to the minister. But as Mkhwanazi, we said two things. He must be fired, nothing else. We are sitting here today. We are having two ministers because he's still a minister. I'll contextualize this by saying the current situation where Minister Mkhunu remains a member of parliament and in the cabinet. Remember, when we are suspended, we are still a minister. But an outsider is being positioned to act in his portfolio, presents an unprecedented conflict of interest. It may result two ministers occupying the same portfolio simultaneously, one in parliament, one in the cabinet. Minister Mkhunu may still participate in portfolio committees, making decisions on matters over which another person is executing an authority, which we think that should never happen. Because especially if you remember what happened at REF with Collins Litswalo, he was suspended, but when we questioned that, within 24 hours, they changed that suspension to something else. After we've raised issues on that, we hope on this matter as well, the president will act. Minister Mkhunu, indeed, he lied to Parliament, as our party leader said earlier. He said something else on our portfolio committee on the 5th of March. But when he changed the tune, which means that he has misled Parliament, he has lied to Parliament. Hence, we've laid charges of perjury because he lied under oath. This arrangement is unheard of in South African constitutional history and directly violates the principle of cabinet accountability, Section 92, and the executive coherence of Section 91. Such a setup is not only impractical, it is illegal, unsustainable, and ripe for a constitutional challenge. In conclusion, the MK party unequivocally condemns this action by President as unlawful, irrational, and contrary to the spirit and the letter of the Constitution. Accordingly, the MKP calls for the immediate removal of Senzo Mkhunu as a Minister of Police and the appointment of the current serving cabinet minister to act in that role, not what the President has done. Reinstatement of political killings task team to urgently address the escalating political violence and restore trust in the criminal justice system, as General Mkhwanazi has already told us in the press briefing on Sunday a week ago. An immediate reversal of announcement pertaining to the appointment of Professor Firoz Kakalia as acting Minister of Police, the establishment and the chairmanship of the Commission of Inquiry into the Mkhwanazi allegation, and instruction from the National Police Commissioner. I'll start and explain that. Remember, there's 121 unlawful removed dockets by General Sibia. And to initiate an immediate arrest of any person implicated in the theft, consignment, or destruction of these dockets. Directing the National Commissioner of Police to resume full operational duties without obstruction, and giving the assurance that there will be no political interference in the South African Police Service for any investigation. The MK Party stand resolute in defense of South African constitutional order and the sovereignty of its institution. We will pursue all lawful and democratic means to resist an unconstitutional governance, institutionalized manipulation, and political lawfare. In conclusion, as Umkhonto weSizwe Party, we are calling the president to do the right thing, and for South African citizens to have a trust in government. We can't have our citizens sitting at home not knowing what is the hierarchy at the South African Police Service are doing. You've seen the arrest of crime intelligence boss Kukumalo, arrested by the so-called IDEC, because we are told as we are sitting here that there's a rogue unit again at IDEC. People resigned as Mkhwanazi. It's not me, as Mkhwanazi was articulating in that press briefing, that there is some people who are arresting people like what the Scorpion used to do for political agendas. We are hoping that the president and the national commissioner of this country, because the national commissioner reports to the president, and I hope that the president and the cabinet, wherever they are sitting, they'll be doing justice to this country, serve our people, nothing else. Our people deserve better. Umkhonto weSizwe Party will indeed sleep well if the president can do the right thing. We accept that he's conflicted and as well is party to all these things, because this closing of ranks, which we rejected the 14 days, which the speaker told we must wait for 14 days. We can't wait. Tomorrow, we are sitting at the portfolio committee. We hope sanity will prevail. I thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sorry? Sorry.
Ngishange umageba mina ngibingelele emakhaya, ngibingelele yonke malunga ase-South Africa, ngibingelele ney'ntatheli ezikhona lana. Siphatheke kabuhlungu kuke kushiwo kuthiwa yinde le ndlela esihambayo. Kuyacaca ubugebengu buningi eSouth Africa. Uma sobheka nje sonke ngaphambilini kuye kwabakhana icala laseMarikana elalibandakanya umongameli lo okhona njengamanje, kwaphinda kwazoba khona icala eliphathelene nomshuluzo wayengenzanga lutho, bamthwesa icala, kwenzeka the very same thing. Kumanje Umkhonto weSizwe, umphakathi wase-South Africa uvotele ngendlela eyisimanga. Bekuqala eSouth Africa ukuthi uthole kumiswa amavoti, kwase kufomeka iGNU. Kuyacaca kubugebengu buningi, nokuthi-ke phela uma ufungile phambi kwenkantolo, phambi kwengalo yomthetho, ukuthi uzokwenza ubulungiswa, kuba uwena owenza into engekho right njengokusenzo Mchunu, akakudeserve ukuthi ahole abantu base-South Africa. Akufanele nakancane. Njengoba singumkhonto weSizwe kumbe singama-South African, silwela intsha ukuthi ikhule ibuse izwe. Njengoba yena ebulala intsha, ufuna iSouth Africa ibuswe wobani? Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga Ndosi. Now we're going to give Commander Wesley Douglas, the cluster head, the whip of the cluster, an opportunity to sweep. We call it sweep. He's going to close whatever gaps that may remain. Over to you, Commander Wesley. Commander Douglas.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy President. And thank you to the media and for everybody that's paying attention to this serious matter that we're dealing with today. We have to understand that we are at a watershed moment in our history as South Africans. We are at a place where there are two arms of state that are responsible for the running of our country, the executive, as well as to keep our people safe, which is the security services, are at loggerheads with one another, where there's accusations of one state of arm of the government against another. And the reality is that this has taken on a very nefarious and a very deep and dark tone. If we look at the statistics that we mentioned, political assassinations have surged by 96% since 2020. That is aimed at silencing people like us that are sitting here, normal South Africans, elected to do our work, elected to expose corruption, elected to make a difference on your behalf. We don't come from rich backgrounds. We come from the same place that you come from as South Africans. Our children and our families are also really touched by drugs, really touched by what's happening in society and what's happening in our government. And to know that it comes from the highest echelons of our government is a serious concern for us as MKP, but also for us as parents, us as people who believe that South Africa is better than this. And that for corruption to go to the highest level and be focused and aimed at shutting up the politicians and giving drug cartels power over the levers of power in our government and our judiciary system and in other systems is an indictment against the ANC, it's an indictment against the GNU, and it's an indictment against President Cyril Ramaphosa. And this judicial commission is too little, too late. We should have been dealing with these issues a long time ago, and this looks like another cover-up, and we will not stand for it. More than 1,400 whistleblowers have been intimidated, silenced, or killed in the last decade. The political killing task teams have been deliberately dismantled in provinces like KwaZulu-Natal, in the Western Cape, and in Gauteng. Evidence of cartel infiltration in SAPS, Metro Police, and intelligence services has been repeatedly buried. Drugs is killing our communities, and for our government to be a co-partner with organized crime shows that the level of corruption has just grown and has just infiltrated all levels and spheres of our society. This is not just corruption where people are making themselves rich at the taxpayer's expense. This is corruption which deals with the killing of our young people, with genocide against our young people through drugs, genocide against our people that are being used as cannon fodder to make other people rich through illegal means. We are supposed to protect our youth. We are supposed to protect the future generations. And yet our government is using its power to be able to enrich themselves at the cost of the lives of our children. There are many, many different ways that this government has been covering up things like Pala Pala, like the president's involvement in Maracana, our president's unlawful stashing of dollars within couches, all these things that are now just suddenly no longer investigated. This is the real state capture. This is what state capture actually looks like. It's not about tenders. This is about when the president and a minister works with people to undermine the sovereignty of our state. Our sovereignty is being undermined by criminal cartels. And it's not only in drugs, it's also in the construction mafia. It's also in the kidnapping rings. It's also in the heists. These are all places where our government is participating, and the police and metro services and the judiciary are implicated. And we need to say enough is enough. We want to tell the people of South Africa, this is not a moment for silence. This is a moment for all South Africans to rise in lawful resistance. The MK Party through Parliament and the courts of public opinion will be your voice. We call on whistleblowers, police officers of conscience and civil rights with integrity to come to us, even if you fear this commission, you can speak to us. We will raise your issues in Parliament. We will ask the questions and you will have your anonymity. We will make sure that there is motions, that there's declarations, that there's statements, that we make sure that the hearings will be held. But we need you to voice your very strong disagreement with what's happening in South Africa. We need South Africans to start taking to the streets and to say enough is enough, to protest, to stand with MK as we go out there and we say, we as South Africans, we're demanding that we have a new government, not a GNU government, because that's a betrayal of what the voters wanted in the last election. The people in the last election wanted a new start, not more of the same. The GNU is a betrayal of that mandate, which was to give us as MK and many other parties that want to change things in South Africa the opportunity to deal with land injustice, to deal with the mineral rights issues, to deal with the poverty issues, and set our people free from 30 years of oppression under this government. So for us, we need to stand up with General Mkhwanazi. We need to stand up with our police services. We need to stand up as honest, godly, hardworking people and say enough is enough. We need to do it not only for us, but for our children and our future generations. So from our side, we are fighting against this and we are standing together with our people. I want to thank you.
Thank you very much, Commander Wesley. Can I just add something before we open it up to discussion? One other fundamental problem we have with the Commission of Inquiry is the following. It's a judicial commission of inquiry. It's going to be headed by a judge. Yet there are fundamental and serious allegations of corruption in the judiciary, which have been made by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. In other words, the judiciary is called upon to investigate itself. What are the chances that the judge will admit to corruption in the judiciary? It's like asking a prostitute to make an investigation regarding prostitution. There is no prostitute who would admit to prostitution. So the judiciary is conflicted by reason of the fact that there are serious allegations against the judiciary. The judge who's chairing the commission is not likely to admit to the fact that there is corruption in the judiciary. He would want to preserve the integrity of the judiciary, of which he is part. So we reject this solution as a waste of the taxpayers' money. And we've had so many commissions in this country, so many commissions of inquiry, making enormous recommendations. Some of them are yet to be implemented. We see this as a waste of time on the part of the president, a waste of the taxpayers' money. He is buying time, and it's going to be no more than yet another cover-up. We thank you. We may now take questions arising, please, out of our presentation. Don't ask us what did we eat for breakfast. Are we going to have lunch? Questions, please, should be limited to this session. We have called you specifically for this, and we thank you.
All right, thank you.
Commander Kiefer, please take care of.
Thank you very much, CP, Chief Whip, and honorable members. Colleagues, we'll take a round of 5 questions, and we will determine after that round whether or not we'll do a second round. So, Lindsay, number 1, number 2, and number 3. So we have 3 for now, so we can start with Lindsay. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay Denton, Eyewitness News. If you are against a commission of inquiry, what or how do you propose that these allegations of Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi then should be dealt with? In terms of you say there's no provision to put ministers on special leave. The president has in the past. Last year, he put a minister on special leave for the month. During COVID, a minister was on leave for 2 months, I think. So how do you then meld the constitution with, I can call them HR provisions? Thanks.
May I deal with that? I'm getting old now. I can deal with that immediately, Commander Kiefer. First of all, the fact that it was done before, that this is not the first time that a minister is put on suspension, does not mean it was done constitutionally. We have looked at the Constitution. The President has no such powers for the reasons that we have articulated. He may have done it before, and maybe we did not challenge it, but we are taking these allegations so seriously. We have done our homework, we have done our research, we have gone through the Constitution. He has no such powers. The fact that he has done it before does not and cannot mean he was right. Right, that deals with your first aspect. The second question is this. You have asked what are other solutions. Simple solution. In the case of Minister Mkhwanazi, there is only one thing that the President must do. He must fire him immediately. I have made several press statements. Minister Mkhwanazi is a well-known liar. I have to repeat that now. He has lied in Parliament when Parliament was sitting. We asked him, he was asked a question relating to activities that were going on, and we asked him to provide us with a number where crime could be reported. He gave us a non-existing number. We immediately phoned. How we found out, whilst the minister was in Parliament, we were sitting in Parliament, it was a question and answer session. Whilst the minister was sitting there, we immediately phoned using the number that he had given us. Alas, that number does not exist. And then we looked around, where is the minister? He had left Parliament together with his deputy. We were told there was an emergency. So they left Parliament after giving us a non-existing number. We caught him, right? He lied blatantly. But there is another lie relating to Minister Senzo Mkhwanazi. It has to do with Child Kwekwe, who was sexually assaulted in the Eastern Cape. We all know that the minister lied. He said the DNA of the headmaster of the school was taken. Subsequent investigations revealed that he was lying. How do we know? It's because when the investigation started, due to public pressure, the police admitted that they were about to take the DNA samples of the headmaster as a person of interest. But already the minister had lied and said in Parliament that the DNA sample was taken long time ago. That's another example. We're dealing with a minister here who has serious allegations with a history of lying. I have openly called him a pathological liar, right? When it comes to lying, he excels indeed. So quite frankly, insofar as the minister is concerned, we expected the president to do an honorable thing, to fire Minister Senzo without any delay.
The alternative to a commission of inquiry?
We don't need a commission of inquiry, in our view, to determine Minister Senzo's guilt. I'm talking about Minister Senzo Mkhwanazi. We don't need a commission of inquiry to determine his guilt. It is obvious that it is guilt. These are very serious allegations.
But then how to deal with the other allegations besides that not just about the minister? How do we deal with the other allegations if not through a commission of inquiry?
Well, the other allegations relating to the judiciary, you cannot ask the judiciary and expect the judiciary to investigate themselves. I've already made the point. The judiciary is conflicted. We do not believe a commission of inquiry is the right answer to this. The right answer is to deal with corruption, right? Investigate allegations by dealing with corruption. There are dockets, for example, that Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi has indicated that about 121 files or dockets were taken. You don't need a commission of inquiry to establish that. Those dockets, an instruction must be given by the National Commissioner to say, get hold of those dockets, let the investigation carry on. You don't need a commission of inquiry. He's buying time. And we all know the result would be to exonerate the individuals affected. Particularly, he needs that as a weapon to shield Minister Mkhwanazi. We don't need a commission of inquiry. We reject it.
Number 2.
Thank you. Jason Felix, the News 24. Dr. Flope, it seems likely that you will be going to court. I just wanted to check, just for my own understanding, is why exactly are you going to court? Is it to overturn the special leave, or is it to challenge the appointment of an acting minister outside of the National Assembly and outside of the cabinet, and in this case a complete stranger in the cabinet? Why exactly are you going to court? And then secondly, should you go to court, what are some of the arguments that you will be making in that case? Or what are some of the arguments that one can expect from the MK party in that case? And I'm pretty sure you won't be going to the Western Cape High Court.
Don't be presumptuous. All right, I've just given a go-ahead to Advocate Darling Pofu, who called me. Our president is not in the country. In the absence of that, obviously, I am acting as the president. Where papers have already been drawn, we are going to bring an urgent application to court because we do not expect Cyril Ramaphosa, given his history, we do not expect him to act. He would require an order of court. Some of the arguments were forcefully raised by Commander Skosana. Section 91 and 92 of the Constitution, there is no way where there is provision made for 2 ministers in any department. A department in this country is headed by 1 minister. It's the Minister of Police, and there is a deputy minister. There is no provision for any department to be headed by 2 ministers. It's unheard of. So we will challenge that. The President, Mr. Ramaphosa himself, is conflicted because there are allegations. He is the one who appointed Senzo Mkhunu, and some of these allegations will directly and indirectly impact on him. So he is conflicted, right? So it's a wide range of arguments that you can expect from us. And what a waste of the taxpayers' money. It is an utter waste of the taxpayers' money. Remember, Senzo Mkhunu is placed on special leave, which is not even suspension. If you are placed on special leave, he has his package intact, ranging from his salary, blue lights, and the entire package, including flights. He will continue flying like every other minister. So his package has not been interfered with, right? And we are going to get a new minister in the whilst Mkhunu is still there. So this is the taxpayers' money again, which is being wasted. This money can be best utilized in terms of building schools, building clinics, building hospitals, and investigating this corruption. We have a huge chunk of money which is being wasted by having 2 ministers instead of 1, and that's an utter waste of the taxpayers' money. South Africa can ill afford that. So these are some of the arguments that are going to be raised. As I say, papers have already been drawn, and I've given a green light this morning that we must litigate. Thank you.
Sorry, number 3.
It's Bela from News of Africa. In the same breath, Chief Whip as mentioning tomorrow the ultimatum, it's been clarified that there will be a case that will go into court. You mentioned in the same breath mobilizing troops on the ground. Yesterday saw the march in Gauteng. Can you maybe just expand on what we can expect if the president doesn't heed to the Wednesday deadline of May? And what will the MK party be doing over and above the case? Dr. Flope and Chief Whip can maybe offer some.
Why do you pick on me?
My colleague who is responsible for the ground and constituency work and mobilizing will then take it.
Thank you. We are not only talking. We are taking actions. On Friday at 10, we'll be at Church Square. Our ground forces, our comrades, will be gathering at 10. We'll be going to the Union Building from there. As we are supporting, we are giving an unwavering support to General Mkhwanazi and to the country at large. As the Deputy President and our party leader has already articulated the issue of the President here, is that we can't take the President and then see serious. You know that. that he has concealed. I mean, we've got that Senzo Mkhunu with the report from the iPad, if you remember well, that he classified the Pala report. That tells you, beside the ceiling of the CR717, now we are sitting here where we are sitting. Hence, we're talking about Justice Madlanga, that he is conflicted on this matter. You have the retired Chief Justice, Ngobo. You have the retired Chief Justice, Mkhwanazi. I mean, why Madlanga? Why Madlanga? Now, it tells you that this is a choreograph. This thing is planned. You know, they are closing ranks on this matter. And I can tell you now, we have the Zondo Commission who wasted over R1 billion. No one is arrested. The same people who were fingered in that report are in the cabinet of the president. He appointed them. It's a joke. It's a circus. For us, where we are saying Umkhonto Wesizwe, in fact, let me just say that to Lizette, because you were saying that the minister was suspended for 2 months. If I remember well, it was Stella Ndabeni. When there was an issue, you know, we are not an opposition party. We are an opposition party today. In fact, you must ask the GNU guys, because they were complaining about the Pala. Today they are quiet. If we raise that in parliament, they won't participate because of the blue line. Now, we as Umkhonto Wesizwe party, we are not here to represent our jackets. We are here to represent the people of South Africa, in particular, the vulnerable and the poor. Now, the president himself, he knows very well. Hence, he has appointed Justice Madlanga. Because the Constitutional Court in the past, they were the defense force of the president. I can tell you now, no one is arrested. The NPA boss was complaining, but that there's some interference in her work. He was appearing at the Portfolio Committee of Justice. Now, we cannot hide this thing for forever. Mkhwanazi must be supported by all South Africans. What he has done, he has exposed the corrupt system of this country. And I want to urge the media as well not to take sides. I've seen civil society being the civil society is trying to defend the president. You have seen yesterday. They call themselves law experts. I mean, what do you expect from Kazakh? What do you expect from Helen Suzman Foundation? What do you expect? We are saying as Umkhonto Wesizwe, under the leadership of our president, Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Zuma, and our deputy president here in parliament, the acting president as we speak, Dr. Hlophe, that we are not going to fail the people of this country. Yeah. Justice must be seen to be done. That's what General Mkhwanazi has told us on Sunday. Justice must seem to be done. We've seen the law which has executed Solomon Mahlangu. So we can't say the law prohibits General Mkhwanazi not to speak out. He has done justice to all South Africans. He needs protection from all of us. Yeah. Let me just remind you, on Friday, we will be at Chase Square. Umkhonto Wesizwe party will be acting on this matter. We are not folding our arms. Thank you.
Can we get the SABC so that the Mango Douglas response? He also covers the SABC.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
We need to prepare for that.
I just wanted to follow up on the court issue. I just wanted to clarify which court was submitting the papers.
We'll probably go directly to the Constitutional Court. The matter is of such magnitude. If we start in the High Court, it's going to take long to get there. Remember, these are issues of constitutional violation. In our respective view, the Constitutional Court is the right forum, and the agency as well relating to this issue. Okay. Thank you so much.
Just an urgent matter as well, eh?
Sorry.
As on an urgent basis?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The Constitutional Court can be approached on an urgent basis. It has been done in this country on numerous occasions. We are saying the issues are of such a serious nature. There is so much at stake. We cannot, time is not on our side. We can't go to the High Court and waste time, be on the waiting roll for months, because this is very urgent. And whatever the ruling of the High Court is, there is always a possibility of a further appeal to the Supreme Court of Appeal and then the Constitutional Court. We are going to take advantage of the direct access provision in our Constitution and go straight to the Constitutional Court. The papers are being drafted on that basis. Thank you. You can even add Africans now.
Yeah. One of the key things that we want to really also just say is that we need to have a fundamental shift. And that fundamental shift, and one of the things that we're going to call for, is that the president himself must step down. Yes. The president himself must resign. And we need to have a new government. We want to call for early elections in South Africa. And we want to say that we want a motion of no confidence in this president and in this government because it's corrupt from the ground all the way to the top. How can we trust the judiciary now? How can we trust a commission right now? How can we trust our security services? How can we trust our executive? We cannot. That's why a general had to go out. General Mkhwanazi had to come outside of his structure, outside of protocol, to come to the South African people and say to the South African people, what should we do? This is the situation. We say that that's a crisis of our constitution and our constitutional democracy. And that crisis demands the South African people to use their vote to make a change. We need to make sure that we have a motion of no confidence in this president and a motion of no confidence in this government, so the South African people can have another opportunity to be able to say, no, let's have early elections. Let's look at a new government that is representative of our people, of what we really want, because no South African voted for the GNU. No South African voted for this current structure. And no South African voted for a corrupt police minister and a corrupt government. So from our side, we are going to have many mechanisms where we're going to work in South African Parliament to call for a new election, to call for the president to step down and for the people to have a referendum to say how they see the future going. Thank you.
Let me have the word and then go. I'll use this soon. Mase sivala ke emakhaya sigoqa sithi sikhathele umnumzana uRamaphosa nohulumeni wakhe bakhohlakele ba-corrupt. uGeneral Mkhwanazi uselikhiphile iqiniso lokuthi kukhona abantu ababulawayo kwezepolitiki, kukhona abantu abala kwipolitics, ma-politicians njengoSenzo Mkhunu ongqongqoshe kwezepolitiki, bonke bakhohlakele. Thina ke siwumkhonto wesizwe sithi sinenhlanhla ngoba uGeneral Mkhwanazi uyiphoyisa eliqotho, uyiphoyisa eliqinisile. Siyanicela nonke ke emakhaya ukuthi lento yenziwe uGeneral Mkhwanazi inhle, sonke masimxhase, sonke emakhaya, konquthu, konkandla, komadundube, koShaka Scroll, koMpumalanga, yonke umhlaba. Siyanicela ukuthi phumani ngokwenu, vukani ma-Afrika, vukani kudlalwa ngathi. uRamaphosa nabelungu bakhe be-GNU badlala ngathi. Sebe-exposekile-ke manje izingqeyisobala, sebebonakeleke manje ukuthi bangcolile, bakhohlakele. Siyanicela-ke, sifuna nje beshilo uzakwethu uCommander Wesley, sifuna ukuthi kube khona i-election, ukhetho olusha oluzoshesha. Aphume umongameli uRamaphosa esikhundleni, uyahluleka udlala ngathi. Usidayisile, wadayisa umhlaba wethu, usebenza nabelungu, ndikucacile ukuthi bakhohlakele. Ngiyabonga.
Na cancer DP na mina ni rhandza ku cancer swinene, ni ri ka hina vanhu ve le kaya hi wele hi khombo, tiko ra hina ri wele hi khombo. Swa chavisa leswi humelelaka la tikweni leri. Holobye nkulu loyi a tsandzekaka ku tihlamulela, a nga lavi vutihlamuleri, u tirha na swigevenga. Hi ri vanhu va ka hina hinkwenu a hi humeni ya support General Mkhwanazi. Hi rhandza ku khensa na Masemula, tatana Masemula, hi khensa swinene loko mi nyike Mkhwanazi protection, hikuva swi tiva ku va lavana na yena sweswi. Mara leswi hi MK hi swi vulaka, hina hi ta tshama hi yimela nawu wa tiko leri. A hi fambeni ya mobilizer, hi lava ku va na nhlawulo, ti-election tin'wana ti ta hi xihatla. hi ta kota ku hlala vafambisi na holobyenkulu lo a nga na vutihlamuleri a nga na integrity munhu loyi a nga ta tirhela tiko ra hina se ha chava hambi hi ri vavasati sweswi hi ku vugevenga bya kona lebyi nga kona le henhla le a va swi lavi na vutihlamuleri se a hi fambeni ya hlawula hi endla shoko ya sapota MK hi sapota na General Mkhwanazi can see ufuna ukuvalelisa okay
ukufamba
ngiyanthokoza kakhulu nokho ngisathi ke bantu bekhaya njengoba sihlaga kangaka niyazi ukuthi sihlagiswa yini kade sihlagiswa ukuthi sinohulumende la ongakhona ukukhuluma okuhlalela ukuleya mala ngamanye amagama abantu basazokuhlaga beSouth Africa ngoba sinabantu abangasirehe sinabantu abazingebengu abanye ke uGeneral Mkhwanazi usihelebhileke wazama ukuthi asihlagulule ukuthi kunento eziningi ezenzakalayo ngaphakathi kuhulumende lokho ke okuthikameza ke ukuthi umuntu onzima akhona ukuthuthuka akhona ukusijamela sikhona ukuba nenaga ngoba into eumkhonto wesizwe elwela khulukhulu ukuthi abantu ababe nenaga engeyabo ngamanye amagama ababe nendawo iland ibe ngeyabo kungabi into le ekhona esinayo la sizokhona ukuthi sihuluphele ukuthi abantu laba ababhizi nento ezifana nama drugs nenkinga ezikhulukhulu ukuthi kunabantu ababhizi ngenyawupe nje abantu ngabe babothiwe mara ke bakuthi ingikhulu zethu zikhona ukuthi zibalekise amadocket lokho kuyakutshela ukuthi siqalene nengebengu ezinengikhulu ngaphakathi kwethu mara kukhona amapolisa aboma nabo baba abaqotho abasesene integrity ngikho sithole nanguke uGeneral Mkhwanazi okhonile ukusihelebha ohelebhe isichaba sonke ukuthi aveze imfihlo ezenziwa ngamanye amakhokoli kwakhe ngalokho sithi so le Africa sapotana umkhonto wesizwe kulendlela esikiyo ngoba umsholozi wayisho ungamalala wathi yinde lendlela esikhambako ngiyanthokoza
Valelise emakhaya mfowethu sicela uvalelise emakhaya. Okay. And thereafter Commander Wesley would say a few words in the Afrikaans language, which is an indigenous language, and we respect.
Sibonge kakhulu emakhaya ngokulalela inkulumo yomkhonto wesizwe phathi sicabanga ukuthi kunamasosha aqeqeshwa ngaphandle naqeqeshwe ngaphakathi ukuvikela iSouth Africa yonkana kufanele bazibonke abantu baseSouth Africa ukuthi umkhonto wesizwe phathi akusiwona wase-KZN wokona wonke ama-province akho-ke bonke abantu baseSouth Africa wona wonke ama-province amasosha aqeqeshelwe ezokuvikela nokulwa nobugebengu awasukumi sivikele abantu baseSouth Africa sivikele intsha ngoba izwe silibhekele entsheni thina sesiyahamba kulomhlaba ngiyabonga
Please give it to Commander West. They will wrap it up in the Afrikaans language.
Dankie. Soos ek gesê het, dit is 'n inheemse taal en dit is ons mense as Kreeling, ons mense as Khoisan, ons mense hier is 'n taal wat weg van ons gevat is. Maar ek wil vir almal die Suid-Afrikaners en ons mense sê, dit is 'n dag wat 'n skeidingsdag is vir ons mense. Ons is vandag is 'n keerpunt, 'n waterskeiding in ons jong demokrasie. Die president het met sy eie mond erken dat die wetstoepassing in agentskappe van Suid-Afrika moontlik deur kriminele bendes geïnfiltreer is. Maar in plaas daarvan om op te tree, steek hy hom weg agter 'n regterlike kommissie, 'n rookskerm, nie 'n oplossing nie. Ons wil hierdie krisis aanstel en sê ons wil 'n nuwe Suid-Afrika hê, ons wil 'n nuwe eleksie hê, ons wil 'n nuwe regering se eleksie hê, want hierdie ene is korrup van top na bottom toe. Soos hulle sê, 'n vis vrot van die kop. En dit is wat ons nou sien. So as ons 'n nuwe Suid-Afrika wil hê, moet ons van die kop af dinge regmaak. Baie dankie.
Baie dankie.
Alex, thank you very much. The work of Parliament resumes and the Deputy President and the rest of the honourable members have to attend to that work, but we thank you very much for coming.